all of you into another new session with me, Geetu. So today we'll be learning chapter 2, that is forms of business organization. And this chapter is there for the 11th standard as well as for the first PUC students, those who are learning business studies as their core subject. So what exactly is forms of business organization? If anyone is planning to start a business or is interested in expanding an existing business, an important decision relates to the choice of form of organization. So what exactly is this choice of form of organization? It refers to what type of organization are you planning to really open. There are various forms of business organizations, ranging from the ones which is the most simplest to the one which is the most complicated, where a lot of procedures are included. So the ones which you would be learning in this particular chapter, there are five important ones, starting from sole proprietor and it goes up to joint stock company. So I have already jotted down the important topics here, what you would be learning. That's in the form of business organization. So sole proprietor would be the first one, and then you would have the joints, you'll have partnership firm, then you would have the joint stock company, cooperative society. Along with this, you will learn joint Hindu undivided family. This is another topic which you would be learning. So I'm sure you've already listened to my mind map video on the second chapter. So by now you know which topics are more interested for you to concentrate on in terms of marks. If you have not listened to the mind map video, it's a small video, quite a small video. Please listen to it so that you understand what you need to learn in this particular chapter. So what is a sole proprietor, or who is a sole proprietor? He is a person who is single-handedly, or he is a single owner who runs his own business. This includes white collar job people who also run small companies, as well as it who are called as entrepreneurs, as well as it refers to blue collared workers, like example shopkeepers or retailers, all these people who want to run their own business, who don't want to follow anyone. So each of these topics has features, merits and demerits, and sole proprietor is one of the most important topic which would usually come as an 8 marker. So the next one is, the second one is joint Hindu undivided family. This is the second one. Sole proprietor is the first one, so this is the second one. Here again it refers, it's run by the Hindu law, where there are three generations of heads. That refers to male members, that is your great grandfather, then refers to your grandfather, then your father. So it is generation together, three generations of people who are doing this kind of business. So the examples I also have already jotted down. Haldirams, you have Tata Consultancies, all these traditional age-long businesses which follow up from your great grandfather. So after your generation, again it would follow into another. If you have a male son, then he would take into the business. All these are things which they would share when they enter into a partnership business or a firm. Then the fourth one is a joint stock company. Joint stock company is also called as multinational companies. These are big companies we are talking about, where, so I would write it as the fourth one here. These are big companies that we are talking about, where they have a lot of, let's say they have a lot of these advantages as are there, as well as disadvantages are there, but we're not talking about 2 to 3 people coming together here. We are talking of hundreds of people coming together, investing their money here, and they are earning a lot of profits. And they don't have separate legal entity here. They have separate legal entity. That means the company is treated as a separate person, as well as the owners are treated as separate people. So the examples are what Samsung, Toshiba, Accenture, IBM, and these are few companies, no, a National Trust. All these are like MNC companies, which are also called as joint stock companies. And the last one you will be learning is cooperative societies. Now what is exactly is a cooperative society? This is a voluntary obligation. So this I will write it as number 5. You will be learning this, and this is a voluntary obligation where people who are living in the society, they have retired, or they have served in such honorary basis, and they coming together forming a society. So the minimum people required to form the cooperative society is 10 members. So they form a cooperative society and they ensure that they are doing good things for the welfare of the society. So now the 5 topics that we looked into was sole proprietor, joint in the family, partnership, joint stock company, and cooperative society. Each of this has merits, demerits, and features. And when it comes to partnership and cooperative society, only these two have types. That means there's types of partners and types of a cooperative society. And the second chapter is a very, very important chapter when it comes to scoring of your marks. Now we'll move on into seeing sole proprietor, who's a sole proprietor, features of sole proprietor, merits and demerits. So please listen to the video.
So we'll start off with sole proprietor. In the evenings, all of us generally go to the shops which is in our localities. These shops are the small retail outlets which are there in our localities. It may be a stationery shop, it may be a small provision shop. It can also be a shop which sells different kind, let's say a hot chips shop. Any shop close by our houses. These shops are the ones which help us for our daily needs, what are the things we need to buy. This is a form of business organization. There are different types of business organizations starting from sole proprietor, joint in the family, joint stock company, cooperative societies. So today we will be learning about sole proprietor. So I'm sure every day we bump into so many of these sole proprietors. Yes? So who is a sole proprietor and what is this word called sole proprietorship? Okay? Now sole refers to single owner. Proprietor refers to owner, sole refers to single, or he is the only owner for the entire business, whatever business he is managing. So every day we bump into a lot of these shopkeepers who run their own businesses, right? So all these people are called as sole proprietors. They single-handedly, or they're the only people who bear all the profits, who bear all the losses for their business. So these are the people who are called as sole proprietorship. So what are the topics that we are going to be learning today in sole proprietorship? We are going to be learning the meaning of sole proprietor. We are going to be learning the features of sole proprietor and merits and demerits of sole proprietor. Yes? So what is the meaning of sole proprietor? It is the form of business organization. Form means what? If you want to start off a business, which we have learned in the first chapter, classification of industry and commerce, whatever business we want to do, we have to ensure that we are knowing what kind of business we want to step into, whether it's a very big one like a joint stock company, or whether it's going to be a cooperative society, or whether it's going to be a sole proprietor where single-handedly I'm going to manage my entire business. So I need to decide for myself. So you need to understand what is the sort of business or form of business you want to open, whether it's joint in the family also. You have to decide. So that is the reason any business organization first has to decide what is the form of business organization you want to open, and depending on that you will start your business. Yes? So in this particular topic I have already told you the meaning. Now sole proprietor is the most popular form of business organization. Reason because most of us want to do business, even probably keep a shop, because why? We are the single owner. We don't have anyone who we have to really answer and tell why we are opening the shop at this time, why we are closing the shop at 12 o'clock, why we are opening the shop and keeping it open till 1 o'clock. We don't have to give reasons to anyone. Why? Because it is our own business that we are managing. Yes, and we are the owner. So what is the meaning of sole? The meaning of sole refers to single. So these terminologies are very important, and that's the reason I'm wavering it off with a different chalk color so that you can understand. Proprietor refers to owner, okay, single owner. That's the meaning of sole proprietor, and it's a very popular form of business organization. And these businesses are not big businesses, they refer to small businesses where you want to open them at the initial part of the years. Like example, today I want to open a provision store. I will open it probably 10 by 10 or 10 by 15 square. I will have a small shop. Later on, if my business is doing good, I will tend to expand my shop, make it a little more bigger, and then I will make it even more bigger if I'm really earning a lot of profit. So what is it? This sort of business is really good for initial years of your organization or your business. Later, if you want to expand it, you can think of expanding depending on how much profit or loss you are earning. Yes? So this is the meaning of sole proprietorship. So I have ticked sole proprietorship, meaning we have completed. I put a name to mark there. Now the second topic is features of sole proprietorship. Now in this particular chapter called forms of business organization, you need to understand that after learning sole proprietor, we will go to joint Hindu family, joint stock company, cooperative society. Then what else do we have? We have, these are the 5 topics we have. So every form of business organization has meaning, has feature, has merits, has demerits. Merits refers to advantages, demerits refers to disadvantages. So most of these features are the same. Are the same means the points remain to be the same, but the explanation is something that will differ. Okay, so now we are talking about features of sole proprietor. Always I told you the meaning, the few points in the meaning is what will come in the features. Yes. Now the first point is formation and closure. For you to formation refers to for you to open this sort of business. Do you need a lot of registration from the government? No, you don't require any big registration that has to be done in the government. You just need to fill a form, you need to get your own license to keep a shop, and that is it, you are good to go. You don't require any big legal formalities are really not required for you to start this kind of sole proprietorship business. So formation, it is easy to form. There is no legal formalities that is required. There is no big registration work that is required, and there is no separate law that you have to follow from the government. It is easy for you to open this sort of business. And even in terms of closure, if you want to close down the business, it's easy for you to close down the business. You don't have to justify to anyone that you're closing down your business because you're incurring a loss, or let's say you don't have to justify. You can close down your business anytime. It's your wish and will. The second point is liability. Always remember, this word for liability is very important in terms of terminology for you to understand the real meaning. Liability means what? You are liable to pay to someone. Okay, what is the meaning of liability? You are liable to pay. Okay, now what kind of liability does the sole proprietor share? There is something called as unlimited liability. I am writing it in short form. Unlimited liability refers to it refers to personal assets and business assets put together. Okay. Again I'll repeat, unlimited liability refers to personal assets and business assets put together refers to unlimited liability. That means what? In terms, let's say for example, this particular person is undergoing a loss. He's borrowed money from several places and now he is not earning profit, and for continuously 1 year he has undergone a lot of loss and he wants to close down the business. He doesn't know what to do. So now what is he going to do? He will ensure whatever your business assets are. Business assets means what? In the shop, whatever assets are there, furniture, tables, whatever money is there, all that, he will sell it off and he will offset to all the borrowers. That means to whomever he has borrowed money from, he will repay it back to them. But even then the loss is very big. That time what he'll do? He'll start selling his personal assets. Personal assets refers to assets which are he's having in the house. Like he'll start selling his house, he'll start selling his vehicle, he'll start selling a lot of his house things, so that he can offset off the loss. That is the meaning of unlimited liability. This situation I'm telling you in case of a loss. But when the organization, let's say when the business is earning a lot of money, there is no loss, he is earning a lot of profit, even then he can start using his personal assets, or he can start using his business assets for his own pleasure purpose or for his own purpose. Nobody is going to question him because he is the single owner. He is the only owner. So what is the meaning of unlimited liability? Unlimited liability means in case there is a loss, your business assets and the personal assets will be sold for you to offset the loss. That's the meaning of unlimited liability. Now, what is the meaning of limited liability? Please understand these two terminologies: unlimited liability, limited liability. Always understand, if you have unlimited liability, what is the meaning? That means in case of loss, business assets are sold, personal assets are sold. But what is the meaning of limited liability? Limited liability means in case there is a loss, only your business assets are sold, but nobody can touch your personal assets. Okay? So in case, again I'll repeat, what is the meaning of limited liability? Limited liability means, I'm writing it here, when there is a loss, only your business assets will be sold. No personal assets will be touched. Okay? So that's the meaning of liability. Now what liability does the sole proprietor share here? He shares unlimited liability. That means what? His personal assets and his business assets will be sold in terms when there is a loss in the organization. Okay, so we're done with the first 2 points. The third point is sole risk bearer and profit recipient. What's the meaning of sole risk bearer? He is the single owner of the business. He doesn't have anyone to help him, so he ends up bearing all the loss by himself. He doesn't have anyone to share the loss for him. And when there is a profit also, he is the sole enjoyer of the profit. Because it's his hard work, it's his efforts, it's his struggles that he is putting to earn the money. So he will reap all the benefits all by himself. He doesn't have to share the losses or profits with anyone. Okay. The fourth point is control. What is the meaning of control? Control refers to his decision making capacity. Let's say he is the one who is the single owner. Does he have to decide by himself, or can he take the help of someone else to decide? No. He has his family who will back him up definitely, but they are not called as the business people here. He is only called as the sole business person here. So when it comes to taking decisions in his business, he is the sole person who has the entire control to take all the decisions. Nobody else can take decisions on behalf of him. Probably his son will help him or his wife will help him, but still no third person from outside will help him to take his decisions on behalf of him. Why? Because he is the sole recipient, he is the owner, so he will take all the decisions by himself. So the entire control of the business will be with him only. Okay? The fifth point is no separate entity. No separate entity means what? Entity refers to the word called business. See, it's here marked. Okay? Entity refers to the word called business. Separate means what? The business is not separate, the owner is not separate. Do you think the owner and the business are separate? No, both are one. Why? Because it's the owner who is running the business and the business belongs to the owner. So whatever the owner decides, that is what will happen in the business. Okay, so you need to understand the meaning of this word called separate. No separate. No separate means what? The business is not separate, the owner is not separate. Both are one. That is what I have put here in short terminology for you to understand. Now, in case we are talking about these big organizations like MNC organizations, let's say we're talking about IBM, Accenture, Goldman Sachs, these are companies, big multinational companies. In these companies, the owners are treated separate, the companies are treated separate. Why? Because we are talking about huge companies where the company is run with the money of the shareholders. Okay, it's run with the money of the shareholders and the capital that's invested by the shareholders. So here the company is totally separate and the owners are totally separate. That is where when we are not telling CEO of Accenture, we are not saying CEO of IBM is the owner. We're just saying in news, how does it come? IBM, HDFC, Axis Bank. Are they saying the manager of Axis Bank, the manager of HDFC has done this? No. They're just saying Accenture is under huge loss. That means what? There, the owner is separate and the organization is separate. But in terms of sole proprietor, no separate entity. Why? Because here it's single person who's running the business, and that single person is not separate from the business. It's his own business. So what decision he takes, that is what is happening. Next one is lack of business continuity. What is lack? Lack means what? Lack means the business cannot continue. Why the business cannot continue forever? In case he dies, his son will help him to continue the business. His daughter will help to continue the business. But is it going to be permanent? If it is their own family business that they are doing it from like years together, then probably yes. But otherwise the business will close down. So in case of his death, in case of sickness, in case of let's say huge losses, nobody will continue the business for him. So this sole proprietor shop or whatever business tends to close down very soon. Okay, so these are the 6 points features. Again we would revise. Let me know if you have any doubts. Okay, so meaning, what's the meaning? It's the most popular form of business organization. It is most useful for small businesses, especially when it is of initial years. Sole refers to only, proprietor refers to owner. What is the features of sole proprietor? Formation and closure. It's easy to form. No legal formalities are required. No registration is required. You just need to do small amount of legal documents you need to submit, but apart from that you don't have any big things that you need to do. Then liability, he shares unlimited liability. Unlimited liability refers to business assets and personal assets which will be sold in terms of a loss. Now, what is this? He is a sole risk bearer and profit recipient. He doesn't share the profits with anyone because it's his hard work, his efforts, what he is putting to run his business. And same thing goes with loss. So his losses also he ends up bearing it all by himself. Next is control. The entire control of the business lies in the hands of the sole proprietor because it's his business. He doesn't have to take advice from anyone else. Then, no separate entity. That means what? The business and the owner is one. Both are not separate. If it is separate, then this word no will not come here. It will say separate entity. Okay? But here it says no separate entity. That means both are one. Next one is lack of business continuity. What is the meaning of lack of business continuity? In case there's a death, in case he is suffering with a lot of pains and ailments, in case that he is undergoing a lot of sickness, that time what happens? The business will end up closing down. Why? Because there's nobody there to support him. If he is backed up with his son or his daughter who can help him or family members, then the business can continue. Okay, so next we will move on to merits of sole proprietor. Now we've already looked into the features of sole proprietor. Now we look into what is the merits of sole proprietor. Now the first merit of sole proprietor is quick decision making. Now I have already told you sole refers to only, proprietor refers to owner. He is the single owner for his entire business. It may be a provision shop, it may be any small retail shops, any examples you can take for that instance. My example what I am telling you is let's say a provision shop. Okay, so keeping a provision shop in your mind, it is easy for you to learn the particular answer. Now quick decision making refers to he can take his own decisions as fast as possible because he is a single owner. He doesn't have to rely on anyone for the decisions what he has to take. So second one is confidentiality of information. The word confidentiality refers to secrets. Whatever secrets he has to maintain in his business, There is no need for him to share those secrets with anyone in his particular business. If he wants to share the secrets with his family members, he can share. Otherwise, there is no compulsion for him to share his secrets with anyone, because it's his own business that he is running. So whatever secrets he wants to maintain about how much percentage of profit he has earned, what's the loss that he is earning, all this he can keep it confidential. There is no need for him to share it with anyone, because he is the single owner of his business. The third one is direct incentive. Incentive refers to bonus, incentive refers to profit, incentive refers to money. Okay, so he is the person who is directly reaping all the profits, all the incentives, or the entire money. He doesn't have to go ahead and share it with anyone. Why? Because he is the single owner of his entire business. See, the explanations are simple. You just have to listen to it once or twice, underline the important terminologies, make note of the important terminologies, and you're good to go. The fourth point is sense of accomplishment. Now, what is a sense of accomplishment? It's nothing but it's a sense of satisfaction what he is gaining. Example, I am teaching you here. I have a satisfaction telling that you are able to understand my teaching. Yes, and I also tell you, any doubts you have, leave a comment, let me know, type a message, and I'm there to help you. So what is it? I'm having the self-satisfaction telling that, okay, fine, I'm writing down the points, I'm making things much more easier for them. So like that, the sole proprietor has a sense of accomplishment. Like, yes, I have achieved it. Yes, I'm doing well. I'm gaining my profits. I'm gaining knowledge. So he has a sense of satisfaction because he is the one who is hardworking and doing everything for his entire business. So the last one is ease of formation and closure. I've already told you the meaning of the word called formation. Formation is nothing but this sort of business is easy for you to open. There is no big registration procedures required or legal formalities that you need to follow. It's just small legal formalities that you need to follow, a registration process by just filling a form that you need to do. So, but it doesn't take months together. It just takes some amount of time. That's all. And even you can close it when, let's say, if the person is dead or if he is suffering with ailments, he can close his shop probably for 1 month. After 1 month, he can again reopen his shop. So the procedure is very simple in case of this sole proprietor form of organization. Yes. So again, we do a recap of merits. Quick decision making. He can take his own decisions fast as possible. Doesn't have to depend on anyone. Confidentiality of information. He can keep his own secrets. He doesn't have to share his secrets or leak his secrets to anyone because he is the only single owner. Direct incentive refers to profits. He doesn't have to share his profits with anyone because he is the person who is working hard for his profits. Then, sense of accomplishment, he has his entire satisfaction level. Reason because he struggled hard, he has worked hard to be where he is. Then, sense of ease of formation and closure. It can easily be formed, you can easily close it. There is no big format, there's no big procedures and all that's really required to have this kind of business. Now let's look into the demerits of sole proprietor. The first demerit of sole proprietor, even before I look into board, is unlimited liability. Why? Because of, I just tell you why unlimited liability. Because don't you think when the sole proprietor is earning a loss, he has to sell off his business assets as well as personal assets and offset all his loss? Imagine he is putting his heart, mind and everything that he has in this business and he's trying to make a profit. And when he is incurring his loss, he has to sell off even his house, even his vehicles, all his personal assets. Then tell me what is left out for him. So that is the biggest disadvantage in a sole proprietor. Okay. Then the next one is limited resources. Now there are certain words which you need to understand in business studies, and these words in business studies will continue even for your first year and second year. Example, one word is unlimited liability. Second word is resources. Resources refers to three words. Okay, what is the meaning of resources? Resources refers to finance. It refers to human resources. Human resources refers to employees. and the third word refers to raw materials. Now, all these three words put together refers to resources. Now, what are they saying? Limited resources. That means there is not much money that he has. He can borrow a loan, but how much will a bank give him a loan to expand his business? If he wants to expand on a larger scale, he cannot have so much of money because he doesn't have anyone's help. He is the only person who is running the business. Later on, if he wants to expand, he probably has to take a help of someone and it should become a partnership firm. So, limited resources, there's not much money, there is not much of resources. That refers to your raw materials. Why? Because up to a certain extent only he can buy, he can store and he can sell. Then there is not much of human labor who can help him. Probably if you see a provision shop, one or two boys will be there, but if he needs more help, he cannot get, even if he gets them, he has to pay them money, which he may not have. Yes? So, limited resources refers to three words. What is it? Finance, raw materials and human resources. The second one is limited life of the business. I was telling you, right? Once in case he dies, there is nobody else to replace his business. In case he's suffering with a lot of ailments, ailments refers to sickness and pain, there is no one there to carry out his business. If he has his sons and daughters and family members, well and good, but otherwise nobody will run the business like him. Example, I'll tell you. Let's say your mothers buy provision from the close by retail small shops close by a house. Yeah. So what happens? They are so used to seeing the person there for like years together. There's a man who's selling and his wife selling provision there. So you are so used to it becomes a family shop for you. All of a sudden the man gets sick and he is at home. So the son is started to sell things to y'all. That's you buy from the son. Don't you think your mother would ask, how is your dad doing? Is your dad doing well? Then when will he will be back? When he was there, things used to go. So same thing, right? Even when we go, you say, how is uncle? Or when your dad goes, he would actually inquire. So what happens? There is limited life of the business. So today it's his son who's selling, but who knows if the son will continue the same business? We really don't know. So that is the reason sole proprietor has a limited life to carry out his business, because not everybody is interested nowadays to sit in the shop and sell things. Most of us like to get educated and work for big companies where we can earn fast money. Then the fourth point is limited managerial ability. The word managerial refers to managerial skills. Okay, when you work in an organization, you need to have managers all around you who can help in managing. Like if you talk about finance, there's a finance manager and his team who can help. You talk about human resource, like let's say employees who can hire other people. There's an entire team who will help. But when you talk about here manager, he is the only manager, he is the only owner, he is only the finance manager, he is only the sales manager. Example, he is the person who has to go get raw materials from the wholesaler, or probably he has some boys who will go and get it. But at the end of the day, he only has to check and see if everything is fine. Second thing, when he has to check for money, profit, how much he is earning, he will only be at the cash counter checking. So what is it? At the end of the day, there is no support for him when it comes to managerial ability. He is the one who has to manage everything by himself. So it's very difficult for him to manage it. So these are the limitations and these are the merits. Merits are also called as advantages. Demerits are also called as disadvantages. It's also called as limitations of sole proprietorship. Now marks. I want to tell you something very important. I'm going to tick it here, telling that we finished merits and demerits. When it comes to marks, these topics are very important. Why? Because merits of sole proprietorship will come as a 4-marker. If you can see there, I have already written very important as a 4-marker. Demerits of sole proprietor will again come as a 4-marker, or both the topics put together will come as an 8-marker. And features of sole proprietorship again will come for a 4-marker. So this chapter is very important, as well as these topics are very important. Ensure that, because until now around 5 to 10 papers have been asking this merits, demerits, features of sole proprietorship. So thank you so much. Any doubts you have, please leave a comment, get in touch with me. I would definitely